Hello everyone, I'm Mick. Today once again, I'm back with another VR game review because I figured it would be a good way to chill out after my clone tried to lure me into a black hole and kill me. So today we'll be looking at Star Wars Squadrons, a game that is all about piloting spaceships and as an ace pilot myself, maybe get those out of the way. Squadrons is the fourth and latest game published by EA after they acquired the Star Wars license back in 2013. I would usually say quality over quantity, but the original EA Battlefront might just have a different say on this. Star Wars Squadrons is a starfighter dogfighting game set in the Star Wars universe that is like a spiritual successor to the X-Wing vs TIE Fighter game released back in the 90s. The game has both single player and multiplayer modes, and of course VR and HOTAS support. HOTAS refer to hands-on throttle and sticks, which a lot of flight sims enthusiasts have, while I'm just here playing with my Switch Pro controller and my lovely VR headset. Quick side note, there are many cases of people complaining about the poor implementation of HOTAS in this game. I have no way of verifying this as I don't have a HOTAS setup, but be on the lookout if you plan to use it. I've played through the campaign and all the multiplayer modes that this game has to offer in the past week, and I gotta say, this is the most fun I've had with a Star Wars game for quite a while now. Yes, this game does not have as much variety in gameplay like Battlefront 2 or the story of Jedi Fallen Order, but just the fun to learn complex ship controls and customizations, plus the immersiveness that VR brings to the table, make you feel so good for committing war crimes with the Empire during the campaign. As we're already talking about the campaign, let's get that out of the way first. I played the majority of it in the pilot difficulty, which is just one level higher than the lowest. The campaign is said to be 4 to 6 hours long, but it took me nearly 9 hours to complete it, so take that information as you will. Also, remember that you can return to your capital ship hangar during missions to fix your starfighter if it's badly damaged. That took me longer to realize than I would admit, sadly. During the whole story, you will flip-flop through both sides of the battle, so you can't just choose one side to play with. The campaign starts with a prologue that is set just after the destruction of Alderaan, where the Empire has to kill the remaining refugees that escaped the planet blowing up. Midway through the mission, your teammates flipped on you and helped those rebel rats escape, which is better than the main character changing sides, I guess. Then, the remaining story happens after the Battle of Endor and centered around the New Republic's Project Starhawk, which is spearheaded by the traitor in the prologue. In the story, it is said that they used Imperial ships to build a massive ship with a strong tractor beam. The Empire of course tried to track the project down and destroy it. Between the missions, you can talk with your squad mates to learn more about them and their life, like one of my favorite characters, Shen, who got a grudge with the rebels because he was injured and is now on constant life support. Also, there are apparently people hating on the game because one of the squad members on the New Republic side uses they/them pronouns, and a guy on the Imperial side has one line mentioning that he has a husband. All I can say to that is, please just shut up. It's a Star Wars game about ships going pew pew. And on a similar note, I have a complaint about this game's Frisk not being a gender-neutral yellow giraffe which freed the underground. I feel like it's time to talk about how the ship controls. The game offers two gameplay options, with them being standard and instruments only. Standard is quite standard as most game goes. It has a lot of HUD elements, objective markers, and health displays for objectives, while on instruments only, you have to rely on the radar and display on your actual cockpit to find the objectives and enemies. This game focuses a lot on power management of the systems on your ship, with Republic ships having from left to right, engine, laser, and shield. And the Empire TIEs, except for the support ship, only having engines and lasers without the shield. If you have a shield, you can also choose to focus the shield to the front or back of the ship, like when you are charging a capital ship head-on or are getting chased by TIEs at the back. On the other hand, to compensate without having shields, TIEs can directly move power resources between engines and lasers, so when you play as a TIE, you can sacrifice the ability to shoot for a while to put the power into engine for a tight escape, or move engine power to laser when doing a bombing run. There are also drifting after boosting your engine or putting the starfighter in half speed for better turning control and maneuverability. Being able to do all this on the fly is important to actually get good with the game, and it is really fun to pull off. In the game, you can play all the multiplayer modes against bots, so I guess they would all be counted as single player content? But before we talk about the generous 2 multiplayer modes we have, I would like to talk about the ship customizations for a bit. Customizations are divided into gameplay and cosmetic customizations. In terms of gameplay, you can choose different special abilities for each ship, like different missiles that have different stats and repair abilities. You can even customize the ship engine and the hull for different gameplay styles. In terms of cosmetics, you can change the paint job of the ship, have holograms and little toys decoration that bobs around when you're flying. They're pointless gameplay wise, of course, but a lot of them are cool little Easter eggs and nods to other Star Wars media. Like this Empire's hologram is a reference to Agent Hask from EA's Battlefront 2, and they have Gong Droid statues. The 2 multiplayer modes we have in Squadrons are Dogfight and Fleet Battle. Both of the modes are 5v5 PvP game modes, with dogfights being just a boring team deathmatch mode, which I guess I don't have much to say about. On the other hand, Fleet Battle is quite an interesting mode. Fleet Battle is very simple conceptually. It is loosely divided into 3 stages. At the first stage, the 2 groups of player plus AI ships will have the dogfight in the middle. Each stage progresses based on the morale meter, where you can increase your team's morale by killing opponent's ship and cruisers. Once a team morale reaches a certain point, the game would move on to the next stage. In stage 2, you need to take down the 2 enemy frigates, then 3 where you have to take down the enemy's capital ship. The 2 teams will struggle back and forth between aggressive and defensive strategy, and there are voice chat options for team coordinations, but I guess not many people used it when I was playing. I believe that this is quite a good game, even though some might argue that it is lacking in content. This is a $40 game, and I guess the campaign with fully rendered cutscenes and voice acting made it feel more AAA than a lot of other games. The 2 multiplayer modes are a bit lacking objectively speaking, but I think the game lead producer put it the best. They aimed this game as an old school type of game, with no future plans for DLCs and microtransactions. With all the VR and hotel support, this is a niche product and it feels like a passion project from the developers. It also reminds me of the time when we can play a game demo for hours on end even though it only has 1 preview level, and I think this game can live on as one of those games. And of course, I have to commend EA for including VR support in their brand new big releases. We're at a point where VR has a huge potential and ability to grow, but lacking in huge AAA releases. VR compatibility is a huge step for VR to go mainstream, and I can't wait for more VR compatible AAA games in the future. Anyhow, I'll just be playing Squadrons while I wait for the next VR EA title, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, to drop in December. See you all again in my next video.